Hello, my name is Eleni Simatcolos, and I'm with the TCU Journalism Department. So, could you introduce yourself with just like your name, year, major, hometown, all of that?
Yeah, for sure. First off, I'm Ian Napetian. I'm a junior here at TCU, double major in journalism and sports broadcasting. Hometown, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area originally, so moving to Texas is definitely different. But so far the move has been good. I mean, I've really enjoyed living in Texas, and so far my time at TCU has been awesome. So.
Awesome. Thank you. So, right now you are involved with KTCU in a variety of ways. So, could you just like explain to me what your current involvement at KTCU looks like
Yeah.
and kind of just for simpler terms what you do here?
Yeah, for sure. I started at KTCU back in my freshman year, in my second semester. I just wanted to get involved. I mean, being kind of in the sports broadcasting like department and major, I just wanted to try to branch out and try different things. So doing radio and stuff was something that I wanted to try and learn. And so I came here, and for my freshman year, I started basically just being a board op, so running faders and doing talk stops in between songs, things like that. And then slowly, as I've been here longer and longer, I've gotten a good rapport with Jeff and Janice here, and so eventually I pitched to them that I wanted to do a radio show and keep it a sports radio show, and so they were nice enough to grant that to me, and so I currently do a show called Reframe Review with Seth Dowdle and Zion Trammell. It's a weekly sports show. We talk about TCU sports. We also do professional sports around the DFW Metroplex, things like that. And then also in addition to that, I'm also very involved in the sports side of things for the radio. So working the board for basketball games, doing pre and post game shows for women's basketball, baseball as well. Um, and then that's, excuse me, sorry. But that's about it for that part. And then this semester specifically, I started calling games for baseball, which has been an awesome opportunity going to Lupton and getting to call games because that's ultimately what I want to do. And so trying to work towards that, get reps as much as possible, and learn from the people here is just really what my goal is. And so far, my KTC has been exactly what I wanted it to be, and even more so.
Yeah, awesome. Seems like you've just been able to really branch out and do a lot of things with KTCU, which
definitely.
is awesome. So, just going back in time a little bit, back to whenever you started at KTCU, how did you first learn of this organization and how did you get involved and start with it?
I didn't know anything about it in my first semester in freshman year, but my second semester, I was literally just walking down here, and then I saw people walking in and out, and I actually did not know what this place was. I'd seen people just sitting in here and things like that, but I didn't know what it was, so I just came in and asked about it. Talked to Jeff and Janice and Roger, and they gave me a whole rundown of everything, what goes on, who does what, how many people there are, and so I honestly stumbled upon it. Thankfully, I stumbled upon it because it's been awesome. I've met tons of different people, but yeah, it was kind of out of luck. And then after that, I mean, I was one of the earlier DJs. I think that at least in terms of who's here now. So it was kind of nice to come in and like meet all the people when it was like still small, and then now I mean it's just grown so much. So, but no, it was in my second semester of freshman year, so spring 22. And yeah, I mean, I've had fun ever since, and just getting to talk to people. I'm always here hanging out. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I kind of have a similar story
yeah,
on, how I got involved. I just kind of stumbled upon it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
very similar to that. So, just tell me all about your specialty show, Riff Ram Review. You've talked about it a little bit already, but just like, can you kind of tell me what that looks like?
Yeah, so Riff Ram Review, it's once again just a weekly sports talk show. 2 hours right now. It's on Mondays from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's me, Seth Dowdle, Zion Trammell, just the three of us. We're super close buddies, so that we kept it like that. And yeah, it's a weekly sports show. The first hour is mainly TCU sports. So depending on the season, in the fall it was very heavy on football and basketball. And then in the spring, it's kind of moved away from that and moved a lot more towards baseball, at least for the TCU side of things. We talk a lot about women's basketball as well because their season was much better than people had anticipated. And then now, obviously, even now, we're talking about women's basketball just because they're getting a lot of transfers. So we keep it mainly around some of those big four sports. We talk a little bit of women's soccer here and there. And then in the second hour of the show, that's when we kind of try to branch out into doing professional sports. And since Zion and Seth are both from the DFW area, we keep it mainly to DFW teams, or at least tie it in. So if we're talking about baseball, it'll be in regards to the Texas Rangers or Mavs for basketball, Dallas Stars for hockey. NBA and the NHL playoffs are going on, so we're really diving into basketball and hockey right now. But yeah, it's a super fun show. We have a ton of fun doing it. I mean, it was the way it came about was just simply. I mean, we would always just have conversations, very in depth conversations about sports, and we are kind of like, hey, what if we just try to do this with a microphone in front of us and turn it into a show, and keep it conversational. And I think that's the thing is that all three of us are very relaxed and conversational when we talk. And because we're already really good friends too, we have a good rapport on air as well. So definitely makes it simple. But yeah, Riff Ram Review's been going on. This is the second semester it's been going on. We're going to carry it next fall, so fall 24, and trying to just continue getting athletes on. We've had athletes on in the past, just doing interviews, kind of just trying to also show the personal side and non-athlete side to some of these athletes. So it's also been fun in terms of that, kind of talking to players too, and kind of getting their 2 cents of what it's like being on the court or on the baseball diamond, but also kind of what it's like also being a student here and trying to get through college as well. So
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, and just like a really special
yeah,
experience of it, having your own specialty
oh
show.
yeah, definitely.
So I know that Riff Ram Review covers TCU and a lot of local teams, but do you have a favorite team, like professional or collegiate, besides the ones that you cover on Riff Ram Review?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, being from the Bay Area, I'm a huge Oakland A's fan. That they're the main MLB team that I followed. I'm from the San Francisco side, but I never grew up a Giants fan. So I'm a diehard Oakland fan, and kind of piggybacking off of that, I'm a big Raiders fan as well. The Raiders used to be in Oakland, now they're in Vegas, but those are the two teams at least that come up. Those are my two teams that I would love talking about. A's are very special to me. I've been going to A's games ever since I was a kid with my parents, so A's have a very special place in my heart, and then Raiders as well. Going to the Coliseum in Oakland all the time is
Yeah.
always fun for me. Even though it's kind of an old dingy stadium, it's kind of like it's our dump type of thing. So, but yeah, the A's, the Raiders. Talk a little bit about the Warriors as well for NBA. I'm a big soccer guy, but we don't talk much soccer on the podcast. And then I'm also big into F1. But
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And so since you've had this semester or not this semester, this show for the past 2 semesters, have you seen any like growth personally, or like just like has your show reached any like specific successes or achievements that you're really proud of?
Yeah, I guess as the show, I mean, for us, we're at 28 episodes right now, and we have 2 more episodes left in the school year, and so we're gonna reach 30 episodes, which is kind of fun. It's a nice like round number to finish off the semester at. But no, I mean, I think in general, I think it's just been really nice to work with two of my friends and just talk sports. I mean, for us, even though I mean, doing a 2-hour show is not easy. I mean, talking for 2 hours is not easy, right? And so, there's definitely a lot of prep that goes into it, hours of prep, and then also hours of post production for getting the podcast out and stuff like that. And so, I think for me, the thing that I'm most proud of is just that even though we're all friends and we're very close, we've been able to come together and work really cohesively to get this ship kind of going out, like going out into the sea and not hitting too many like crazy waves and stuff like that. It's been pretty steady. So no, I'm proud of the guys because they put in a lot of work. It's not easy. Zion has to come in from Grapevine. Seth, is busy as well with school and stuff. Same with me, and so it's all extracurriculars that obviously we're not getting paid for, but it's stuff that we just enjoy doing. So I'm proud of us for sticking together for as long as we have and been doing it. We all enjoy it, and I think that's the biggest thing. And then also we just surpassed, I guess, like 3,000 total listens. So over 28 episodes or so. I mean, to have that, it's definitely nice to have. And to know that people do listen, it's because sometimes if you're on the radio, you don't necessarily see the people you might be talking to, right? There might be driving and they're listening on KTCU, or they might be streaming it, or they might be listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts where we put it out afterwards. So on Apple Podcasts, that's kind of been our big kind of not revenue stream because we don't make money off of it, but it's more of just, hey, it's working on Apple Podcasts. We're getting about 3,000 so far. We've had 3,000 listens and plays. So for that part, it keeps us motivated to continue doing it because people listen. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And so earlier you were mentioning that y'all have guests on your show. Have you had a favorite guest?
oh man, oh gosh, yeah. So we've had I want to see. Yeah, we've had four guests, and honestly, I mean, all four have been awesome. I think we had Sedona Prince on. She was just a pleasure to have.
Mhm.
Huge name in women's basketball. Has done so much for women's basketball, but also the TCU program. So she's coming here in the fall. So we had her on. She was our first guest. And then after that, we had Curtis Byrne. He's the catcher for TCU baseball. I got to know Curtis really well from class, and so he and I were able to just kind of build a good rapport. And I mean, he's a super relaxed, laid back kind of guy. And so having him on was awesome. It felt like you're just talking to someone that just loves baseball. And for him being a catcher, he has to know every scenario on the field at all times. And so he's a great source of information to talk to. He's a great person to talk to for questions about baseball too. So that was fun. And then we also had Peyton Tolley, a starting pitcher for the Horned Frogs on the baseball team as well. He's awesome. He was a transfer, so we kind of got to talk to him about transferring from Wichita State, and kind of what the whole transfer portal is like. I mean, transfers are very very crazy now. The transfer portal is insane, and so that was nice to talk to him. And then I think probably the one that we prepped the most for, and we're just very proud that it happened, was getting Jared Sandler. Jared Sandler,
Oh yeah.
he's the radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Rangers, and so I've known him for the last couple of years. He and I are pretty close, and I just asked him. I said, hey, if you're ever coming down to Fort Worth or TCU to talk to one of the classes, let me know because we'd love to have him on the show. And so he came down, made some time for us, had a great interview, talked about the Rangers World Series run, about him as a broadcaster because all three of us kind of want to get into broadcasting. So he was really just so down to earth, really nice guy to kind of talk to about sports, about baseball, but also about the broadcasting industries too. So I know I just went through all four, but they were all just awesome guests to
Yeah,
have.
no,
So
that definitely means that it was special to
yeah,
each and every one, which
yeah,
is amazing to
yeah.
hear. So, looking into the future, how do you think that your experience at KTCU and like having a specialty show and the variety of things that you've been able to do and be involved in because of this program will help you in your future career endeavors?
Um, in terms of helping me in the future, I think it'll help in a lot of ways. I think for one, learning radio is not easy. I mean, you know it. Everyone else
Mm-hmm.
here that has learns radio, I mean, there's levels to radio, obviously, but you have to understand the technicalities of what works to get something out over the air. And so I think kind of that side of it means that you have to pay attention, you have to be committed, you have to be diligent, and those are all incredibly important skills to have when you do go work. And and employers, I do believe employers look for commitment. They look for people that are trustworthy, people that will put in the time. Um, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I work hard. I work really hard, and I think that's also something that I've learned too. Having a specialty show isn't just, hey, we want a show and we're going to show up 5 minutes before and leave right after, and we don't care how the show goes. It's like, no, having a specialty show means you're going to put a lot of work into it before, during, and after, right? To make it the best product as possible, right? Doing social media, getting it distributed on different platforms, things like that. So it's taught me just to be diligent and to persevere and continue working hard. I mean, I feel like I've already and always had a real good work ethic, but it's another thing to just have done it in the past as opposed to doing it consistently too, because you don't get to skip a show. If you're not feeling good, if your voice is raspy, you still got to go on and broadcast and do the show. You can't just skip it because you're not feeling well. So it also means that you have to be up for it and you have to be diligent and committed and consistent. And I think consistency is the biggest thing. So
Yes. I definitely do agree that it teaches you a lot being involved in radio.
yeah.
So, thank you so much. All
Yeah.
your responses were amazing. And just if there's anything else you would like to add, now is the time.
Okay.
But I mean, if not, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's not much more other than just I don't know. I mean, just work hard. I mean, that's the one thing that I've always taken to heart. It's a cliche, but I think the thing, especially in radio or broadcasting or whatever industry you want to get into or people get into, the people that make it to the top outwork the rest. And it's, yeah, maybe there's a bit of luck involved in certain things, but I would rather take the guy that is super nice, maybe isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but he works his tail off, as opposed to the person that thinks they're everything, does good work, but they're just a jerk to everyone. And so working hard, being nice. I think those very simple things go a super long way. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.